Alan Carter stared through the viewport as the first Vrexian ships appeared. Their dark, chitinous hulls reflected no light, making them look like moving shadows against the stars. His heart pounded as alarms blared throughout Harmony Station. All personnel, this is not a drill. Unknown vessels approaching. Defense protocols activated, announced the station's AI in a calm voice that contrasted sharply with the chaos unfolding. Alan grabbed his research data tablet and ran toward the main lab. The station shuddered as the first impact hit. He stumbled against the wall, catching himself before falling. Dr. Carter. Olivia Grant rushed toward him from the engineering section, her face pale with fear. They've hit the main power coupling. We're losing shields. What about communications? Alan asked, steadying himself as another blast rocked the station. Damaged but working. Captain Ellis sent a distress signal, but she didn't finish her sentence as the lights flickered and died, replaced seconds later by the dim red glow of emergency lighting. They hurried together toward the central hub where other station personnel were gathering. Captain Ellis stood at the command console, his face grim as he coordinated what little defense the research station had. Harmony Station to Earth Alliance. We are under attack by unknown hostile forces. Coordinates follow. Request immediate assistance. The captain's voice was steady despite the situation. Message repeats. We are under attack. A massive explosion tore through the hub. Alan and Olivia were thrown to the floor as debris rained down around them. When Alan looked up, he saw the captain lying motionless beside the shattered communications array. The beacon, Olivia whispered. It's damaged. Outside the station's viewports, Alan could see the Vrexian ships moving closer. They were unlike any vessels he had seen before, organic-looking, with segments that moved independently like the body of an insect. We need to get to the escape pods, Alan said, helping Olivia to her feet. But it was too late. The station's airlock doors slid open, and the creatures entered. They walked on 6 legs, their bodies covered in hard, segmented exoskeletons. Their heads bore multiple compound eyes that glittered in the emergency lighting, and mandibles clicked as they communicated with each other. The station's security team fired their weapons, but the energy pulses seemed to do little against the invaders' armor. The Vrexians returned fire with weapons that emitted a strange green beam. Where it touched, humans fell immediately unconscious. This way, Alan whispered, pulling Olivia into a maintenance shaft as more Vrexians poured into the station. For hours, they hid and watched as the invaders methodically captured everyone on board. The Vrexians moved with frightening efficiency, disabling systems and gathering unconscious humans in the cargo bay. When night cycle came, Alan and Olivia crept out from hiding. The station was eerily quiet except for the occasional sound of Vrexian patrols. They're keeping everyone alive, Alan observed as they peered into the cargo bay through a small window. Dozens of station personnel lay on the floor, now regaining consciousness and looking around in confusion and fear. But why? Olivia asked. They found out 3 days later, after they'd established a hiding place in an unused storage compartment. Using Olivia's engineering skills, they tapped into the station's damaged communication system. The Vrexians were speaking to each other, their clicks and whistles translated by the station's linguistics program. Human physiology ideal for adaptation experiments, came the translated voice. Begin processing subjects tomorrow. High Command expects results within 1 lunar cycle. Alan felt cold fear wash over him. They're going to use us as test subjects. Olivia worked frantically on a small device she had assembled from spare parts. If I can boost the signal on this communicator, maybe we can reach someone. Even if we do, how long before help comes? Alan asked, watching as a Vrexian patrol passed by their hiding spot. I don't know, Olivia admitted, but we have to try. As they worked on their makeshift communicator, neither of them realized that the beacon's damaged signal had failed to reach beyond the nearest star system. As far as Earth knew, Harmony Station was simply experiencing communication difficulties. Help would not be coming anytime soon. 3 months had passed since the Vrexians took Harmony Station. Alan Carter's beard had grown long and unkempt. He sat in the narrow maintenance tunnel that had become home to their small resistance cell. "Any change in the patrol pattern?" Jack Miller asked, crawling into their hideout. The former security officer had escaped capture during the initial attack by hiding in the waste recycling system. "Same as yesterday," Alan replied, checking their hand-drawn map of Vrexian movements. "They're still taking 3 people every day for their experiments." Olivia Grant worked silently on their communication device, her fingers thin from months of rationed food. They survived on nutrition packs stolen from storage and recycled water from maintenance lines. "We lost Sam last night," Jack said quietly. "The Vrexians took him after he tried to fight back during food distribution." Alan closed his eyes briefly. Their numbers kept shrinking. Of the original 200 station personnel, fewer than 50 remained. Some had been taken for experiments, others had died trying to fight back, and a few had simply given up hope. "I keep thinking Earth must know something's wrong by now," Olivia said, not looking up from her work. Harmony Station was supposed to report weekly. Jack shook his head. "I overheard the Vrexians talking. The main beacon was completely destroyed in the attack. The emergency beacon was damaged. Its signal barely reaches the edge of this system." The news hit them hard. They had been holding on to hope that Earth was planning a rescue, that ships might appear any day. Now they understood why no one had come. "We're on our own," Alan said, his voice hollow. That evening, they risked a dangerous mission to the medical bay. The Vrexians kept it lightly guarded, believing all humans were either imprisoned or dead. Alan needed medical supplies for 2 resistance members who had fallen ill. As they crept through the dimly lit corridors, they passed the science lab where Alan had once worked. Through the window, he saw something that made him freeze. Vrexians moved around the lab, examining samples and operating equipment meant for human hands. On several tables lay unconscious humans, with tubes and wires connected to their bodies. "They're not just experimenting on us," Alan whispered. "They're studying how to become us." Jack pulled him away before they could be spotted. "We need to move." Later that night, back in their hiding place, Olivia made a breakthrough with their communications device. "I've managed to bypass the main system," she explained. "We can't use the station's transmitters. They're too heavily guarded, but I've modified this personal communicator to boost its signal using power from the maintenance lines." "How far will it reach?" Alan asked. "Not far enough," she admitted. "Maybe to the edge of the system. But if any Earth ships happen to be passing through..." It was a slim hope, but it was all they had. Food was becoming a bigger problem. The Vrexians had begun locking down supply areas, making their stealing missions more dangerous. 2 nights ago, they had nearly lost Jack when a patrol spotted him near the kitchen storage. "We can't keep going like this," Alan said as they shared a single nutrition pack between the 3 of them. "The Vrexians are planning something bigger. I saw more ships arriving yesterday." Through careful observation and tapping into what remained of the station's sensors, they had discovered the Vrexians were building a larger base around Harmony Station. More of their kind arrived each week. "Whatever they're planning, it's not just about us," Jack said grimly. "They're preparing for something much bigger." That night, as Alan took his turn to sleep, he dreamed of Earth ships appearing suddenly, guns blazing to rescue them. He woke to the same dim light of their hiding place, the same hopeless reality. Help seemed further away than ever. Olivia studied the Vrexian patrol schedule she had mapped over weeks of careful observation. She pointed to a gap in their pattern. "Here," she said to Alan and Jack. "Between 200 and 215 hours, the guards change shifts in Sector 7. There's a 15-minute window where the communications array is minimally guarded." Alan looked skeptical. "Even if we reach it, the array is damaged." "Not completely," Olivia replied. "The main systems are down, but the emergency protocols are still active. They're just not powerful enough to reach beyond this system." Jack leaned forward. So what's changed? Olivia held up her Modify communicator. I've been working on this for months. If we can connect it to the station's emergency array, we can boost the signal strength tenfold. Enough to reach Earth? Alan asked, a flicker of hope in his tired eyes. No, Olivia admitted, but maybe enough to reach the Carson trading route. Earth Alliance ships passed through there every few weeks. It was dangerous, perhaps suicidal, but they had no choice. The Vrexians were accelerating their experiments. Yesterday they had taken 5 more prisoners instead of the usual 3. That night, they moved silently through the maintenance tunnels. Alan carried Olivia's device, while Jack led the way with a makeshift stun weapon he had created from spare parts. "Patrol coming," Jack whispered, pressing himself against the wall. They held their breath as 2 Vrexians passed, their mandibles clicking in their alien language. When the coast was clear, they continued to the communications room. As Olivia had predicted, it was empty during the shift change. They had 11 minutes left. "Keep watch," Olivia told the others as she began working on the console. Her fingers flew across the interface, bypassing security protocols and connecting her device to the emergency array. 8 minutes, Alan warned. Olivia didn't respond, focused entirely on her work. She had one chance to get this right. 6 minutes. The console came to life, glowing softly in the darkness. Olivia typed rapidly, preparing the message they had composed together over the past weeks. It contained their coordinates, details of the Vrexian attack, and information about the experiments being conducted on humans. 4 minutes. Almost there, Olivia muttered. The system resisted her attempts to override the safety protocols that would prevent broadcasting on all frequencies. 3 minutes. "Olivia, we need to go soon." "Got it," she exclaimed as the console displayed a green confirmation light. "Broadcasting now." The message began transmitting, repeating on a loop as Olivia had programmed. They had no way of knowing if anyone would hear it, but it was their only hope. 1 minute, Jack warned, his voice tense. They disconnected Olivia's device and hurried back the way they had come, barely making it into the maintenance tunnel before the next Vrexian patrol arrived. Did it work? Alan asked once they were safely back in their hiding place. "The message is broadcasting," Olivia confirmed. "Now we wait." 2 weeks passed with no sign that their message had been received. Hope began to fade again. Then, one ordinary day, something extraordinary happened. The small Earth Alliance scout ship, Horizon, was completing a routine patrol along the Carson trading route when Communications Officer Pete Ramirez picked up a faint signal. "Captain, I'm receiving a distress call," he reported. "It's weak, but it's definitely coming from Harmony Station." Captain Laura Dawson moved to his console. "Harmony Station. They went silent months ago." "Listen," Ramirez said, playing the message. The recorded voice was filled with static but clear enough. "This is Harmony Station. We are under occupation by hostile forces identified as the Vrexian Dominion. They attacked without warning and are conducting experiments on human prisoners. Coordinates follow. Please send help immediately." Captain Dawson's expression hardened. "Set course for Earth. Maximum speed. This goes straight to Alliance Command." 3 days later, the message reached Earth. Within hours, the Alliance Council convened an emergency session. Admiral Gregory Scott addressed the gathered officials. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have confirmed that Harmony Station has fallen to an unknown alien species. They are holding our people captive and conducting experiments on them." He paused, looking at each council member. "I am recommending immediate military action. It's time to show these Vrexians the full might of Earth's Armada." Help was finally coming. Admiral Lisa Reyes stood on the bridge of the Earth Alliance flagship, Invincible, watching as ships gathered in Earth's orbit. She had never seen so many warships assembled in one place. The fleet stretched as far as the eye could see. Destroyers, cruisers, carriers, and the newest battleships, fresh from the shipyards of Mars. "Status report," she demanded, turning to her second-in-command. Commander Ryan Peters consulted his tablet. "We have 97 ships assembled, Admiral. 15 more expected within the next 6 hours." Lisa nodded, her face grim. When the distress call from Harmony Station had reached Earth, the Alliance Council had immediately authorized the largest military response in human history. The reports of experiments on human prisoners had united Earth's nations in a way nothing else could. "And the Thunderbolt weapon systems?" she asked. "Installed on all primary vessels," Ryan confirmed. "The science team assures me they're ready for combat deployment." The Thunderbolt system was Earth's newest weapon, developed in secret and never before used in actual combat. Lisa hoped it would give them the edge they needed against the Phyrexians. In the main war room of the Invincible, Commander Daniel Wright studied the holographic display of Harmony Station. Intelligence gathered from the distress signal had been limited, but they had managed to piece together the basic layout of the Phyrexian occupation. "Our primary objective is the rescue of surviving personnel," he told his strike team leaders. "Secondary objective is securing intelligence on Phyrexian capabilities and intentions." One of the team leaders, Captain Samantha Kelly, pointed to a section of the station. "This looks like their main holding area for prisoners. We should focus our initial insertion here." Daniel nodded in agreement. "Good. We'll need to move fast. We don't know how the Phyrexians will respond when our fleet arrives." The discussion was interrupted by the arrival of Admiral Reyes. The room fell silent as she entered. "The diplomatic team has made contact with what we believe is the Phyrexian leadership," she announced. "They've refused all demands to release our people. In fact, they've made it clear they consider humans to be nothing more than research subjects." A tense silence followed her words. "Then we go in with everything we have," Daniel said finally. Lisa nodded. "The Council has authorized full military action. We depart in 5 hours." Across the fleet, thousands of soldiers and crew members prepared for battle. In the medical frigate Mercy, Dr. Natalie Brown supervised the preparation of field hospitals and treatment centers for the expected casualties. "We don't know what condition the prisoners will be in," she told her medical team. "Be prepared for anything: malnutrition, trauma, possible experimentation effects." On the carrier Defiant, pilot Grace Wilson ran final checks on her fighter. Like everyone else in the fleet, she had volunteered immediately when the call went out. "You ready for this?" asked her wingman, Ben Martins, as he climbed into his own fighter. "Those are our people out there," Grace replied simply. "I'm ready." In his private quarters, Daniel Wright recorded a message for his family. Many officers were doing the same. They all knew that not everyone would return from this mission. "We're going to bring them home," he said to the recording, "whatever it takes." Admiral Reyes stood at the main view screen as the countdown to departure approached 0. The massive fleet was in perfect formation, ready to move as one. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Ryan announced. Lisa took a deep breath. This would be the farthest human fleet ever deployed, and potentially the most dangerous mission in Earth's history. "Signal all ships," she ordered. Jump sequence initiated. Across the Armada, engines hummed to life as jump drives powered up. The fabric of space rippled as one by one the ships of Earth's fleet disappeared into the void, bound for Harmony Station. The message to the Phyrexians was clear: Earth protects its own. The Earth Armada moved through space like a school of massive metal fish. Admiral Reyes stood at the command center of the Invincible, watching the holographic display as her fleet traveled toward the first jump gate. "Jump gate approaching in 5 minutes, Admiral," announced the navigation officer. Lisa nodded. The journey to Harmony Station would require 3 separate jumps through different star systems. Each jump brought them closer to enemy territory. "All ships maintain formation," she ordered. "Prepare for jump sequence." Commander Daniel Wright used this quiet travel time to finalize rescue plans with his team. They gathered around a table in the Invincible's tactical room, studying the limited information they had about Harmony Station. Our advanced scouts report increased Vrexian activity in this sector, Daniel said, pointing to an area near the station. They've established outposts on 2 nearby moons. They're expanding their territory, observed Lieutenant Frank Howard. This might be more than just a research mission for them. Daniel agreed. Intelligence suggests the Vrexians are preparing for a larger presence in human space. Harmony Station might be just the beginning. The fleet approached the first jump gate, a massive ring-shaped structure that created a stable wormhole through space. One by one, the Earth ships entered the glowing blue portal and emerged in the Arcturus system. First jump complete, reported Ryan Peters. All ships accounted for. Lisa allowed herself a small smile. Moving such a large fleet through jump gates was complicated, but so far, everything was going according to plan. The scout ship Sparrow moved ahead of the main fleet, checking for any Vrexian presence. Captain Julia Nelson kept her ship's signature as low as possible, using minimal power to avoid detection. Picking up some unusual readings at the edge of the system, reported her sensor officer. Julia frowned. Can you identify? It matches what we know of Vrexian energy signatures. Looks like a small patrol vessel. Julia's decision came quickly. Keep our distance. Don't engage. Alert the fleet. Back on the Invincible, Admiral Reyes received the scout's report with concern. Vrexian patrols this far from Harmony Station, she muttered. They're expanding faster than we anticipated. Should we change course? Ryan asked. Lisa studied the tactical display. No. We maintain our approach, but increase our stealth protocols. The element of surprise is crucial. The fleet continued toward the second jump gate, moving more cautiously now. The massive ships dimmed their external lights and reduced power to non-essential systems to minimize their energy signatures. In the hangar bay of the carrier Defiant, Grace Wilson and her fellow pilots ran through simulation drills for the coming battle. The Vrexians use swarm tactics, Grace told her squadron. Their fighters are smaller than ours but more numerous. We'll need to use our superior firepower and range to our advantage. Her pilots nodded, faces serious. They all understood what was at stake. As the fleet approached the third and final jump gate, tension throughout the ships increased. Beyond this gate lay the Harmony system and the enemy. Final briefing in 10 minutes, Daniel announced to his strike team. They had been rehearsing extraction scenarios for days, preparing for every possible situation they might encounter. What if the survivors aren't in the locations we expect? Asked Samantha Kelly. We adapt, Daniel replied simply. Whatever it takes to bring them home. The scout ship Sparrow nearly collided with a Vrexian patrol as it scouted the approach to the final jump gate. The alien vessel appeared suddenly from behind a small moon, forcing Julia to make an emergency maneuver. They've spotted us, her pilot shouted. Evasive action, Julia ordered calmly. Don't fire unless fired upon. The Sparrow dove beneath the Vrexian ship and accelerated away. For several tense minutes, they waited to see if the alien vessel would pursue or sound an alarm. They're not following, reported the sensor officer finally. I think we're clear. Julia released her breath slowly. That was too close. Inform Admiral Reyes. On the Invincible, Lisa received the news with a grim expression. We may have lost the element of surprise, she told her officers. Prepare for combat immediately upon entry to the Harmony system. The Earth Armada approached the final jump gate, weapons charged and shields at maximum. Beyond this point, there would be no turning back. All ships prepare for final jump, Lisa announced to the fleet. May God be with us all. The blue-white energies of the jump gate flared as Earth's Armada emerged into the Harmony system. Admiral Reyes gripped the rail of the command platform, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. All ships accounted for, Ryan Peters reported. Defensive formation established. Before them, Harmony Station orbited a small moon, but it was barely recognizable. The once sleek research outpost was now covered with strange, organic-looking structures. Vrexian ships of various sizes surrounded it like insects around a nest. "They've completely transformed it," Lisa whispered. For a moment, the Vrexians seemed frozen in surprise. Then, like a disturbed hive, they began to move. "Incoming transmissions from the Vrexian fleet," the communications officer announced. "They're demanding our immediate withdrawal." Lisa's face hardened. "Send our reply. We have come for our people. Surrender them and withdraw, or face the consequences." On the main display, the Vrexian ships began to arrange themselves into attack formation. "They've made their choice," Lisa said. "All ships, commence Operation Homecoming." The Earth fleet moved with precision, breaking into pre-planned battle groups. Fighters launched from carriers, streaking toward the Vrexian vessels. Grace Wilson led her squadron toward a cluster of smaller enemy ships. "Thunderbird Squadron, weapons hot. Remember your training." The space around Harmony Station erupted in battle. Energy weapons flashed across the void as Earth's most powerful ships engaged the Vrexian fleet. Inside the station, Alan Carter felt the first tremors of the battle. He and Olivia rushed to a viewport in time to see the magnificent sight of Earth ships appearing from the jump gate. "They came," Olivia whispered, tears in her eyes. "They actually came." Alan couldn't speak. After months of hopelessness, the sight of Earth's fleet was overwhelming. Jack Miller burst into their hiding place. "Did you see? It's happening. We need to help them," Alan said, snapping out of his shock. "They'll be sending rescue teams, but they won't know where to find everyone." Jack nodded. "I've been thinking about this. We can disable the internal security systems to give them clear access, and I can guide them to the prisoner sections," Olivia added. Outside, the battle intensified. Despite their surprise, the Vrexians were formidable opponents. Their organic ships moved with unexpected agility, swarming around the larger Earth vessels. On the bridge of the Invincible, Admiral Reyes watched the tactical display with growing concern. "Their reinforcements are arriving from the far side of the moon," Ryan warned. Lisa made a quick decision. "Deploy the Thunderbolt weapon on the largest enemy vessel." The weapons officer entered the command sequence. From the Invincible's main cannon, a blinding beam of energy shot forth, striking the Vrexian flagship. The strange alien vessel seemed to freeze, then began to break apart as the energy disrupted its molecular structure. "Direct hit," Ryan exclaimed. "All strike teams, commence boarding operations," Lisa ordered. "The window is open." Commander Daniel Wright led his team into the dropship. Their mission was simple but dangerous: board Harmony Station and rescue the human prisoners. "Remember, we expect resistance," he told his soldiers as their ship detached from the Invincible. "But our primary goal is extraction of survivors." Multiple dropships raced toward the station, weaving through the ongoing battle. Vrexian defense turrets fired at them, hitting two of the approaching vessels. "Evasive maneuvers," Daniel shouted as their ship lurched to avoid enemy fire. Inside the station, Alan, Olivia, and Jack moved through the maintenance tunnels toward the central control hub. If they could reach it, they could disable the station's internal defenses. "Vrexian patrol ahead," Jack warned, peering around a corner. "We need a distraction," Alan said. Olivia pulled out a small device she had built from stolen parts. "I've been saving this. It should create enough noise to draw them away." She activated the device and tossed it down a side corridor. It began emitting a high-pitched sound that immediately attracted the Vrexians' attention. As soon as the aliens moved away, the three humans rushed toward the control hub. Outside, Daniel's dropship reached the station's main docking bay. As the doors opened, his team moved out in formation, weapons ready. "Breach successful," he reported, beginning search and rescue operation. The battle for Harmony Station had begun. Commander Daniel Wright moved swiftly through Harmony Station's corridors, his strike team fanning out behind him. The sounds of battle echoed through the structure as more Earth soldiers poured in from multiple docking points. "Life signs detected ahead," reported Lieutenant Howard, checking his scanner. "Human signatures." Daniel raised his fist, signaling his team to approach cautiously. As they rounded the corner, they saw a makeshift barricade with 3 haggard-looking people crouched behind it. "Earth Alliance," Daniel called out. "We're here to get you home." Alan Carter stood slowly, hardly believing his eyes. "You actually came," he said, his voice breaking. "Dr. Carter." Daniel checked his information pad. "You were listed as missing after the initial attack." "We've been hiding," Alan explained as Olivia and Jack emerged. "There are others, prisoners in the lower levels. The Vrexians have been experimenting on them." Daniel nodded grimly. "Show us where." Across the station, other strike teams engaged Vrexian defenders. The aliens fought fiercely, using their superior numbers to push back against the human soldiers. In the main laboratory section, Captain Samantha Kelly's team discovered rows of humans in stasis pods. "Medical team, we need assistance here," she called over the comm. "We found at least 30 survivors, all in some kind of suspended animation." As medics rushed forward to assess the prisoners, Samantha's team pushed deeper into the lab. What they found stopped them in their tracks. "Command, you need to see this," Samantha said, her voice tight. "They weren't just experimenting on our people. They were trying to adapt human DNA to their own species. The evidence was clear: hybrid creatures floating in tanks, part human, part Vrexian. An attempt to create beings that could survive in human environments. They were preparing for invasion," Samantha realized. Outside the station, the space battle had turned decisively in Earth's favor. The Thunderbolt weapons had proven devastatingly effective against the organic Vrexian ships. "Enemy flagship disabled," reported Ryan Peters on the Invincible. "Their fleet is beginning to scatter." Admiral Reyes watched the tactical display with satisfaction. "Maintain pursuit of any ships attempting to flee. We can't let them report back to their homeworld." Grace Wilson's fighter squadron chased down escaping Vrexian vessels, disabling their engines with precise shots. "Don't destroy them if you can avoid it," Grace told her pilots. "We need prisoners for information." Back on the station, Alan led Daniel's team to the main holding area. Armed soldiers quickly overwhelmed the few Vrexian guards, freeing dozens of weak and malnourished humans. "We've been here for months," one woman sobbed as a medic examined her. "We thought everyone had forgotten about us." "We never forgot," Daniel assured her. "It just took time to find you." In the station's command center, Olivia worked with Earth technicians to secure the computers. "There's valuable information here," she explained. "The Vrexians have detailed files on other potential human targets." As the rescue operation continued, a large Vrexian suddenly emerged from a side chamber. Unlike the others, this one wore ornate armor and moved with authority. "The commander," Jack whispered. Before anyone could react, the Vrexian leader activated a device on its wrist. Holographic images appeared, showing hundreds of Vrexian warships. "You have won nothing," it clicked in roughly translated human language. This was merely an outpost. "Our Armada comes. Earth will fall." Daniel raised his weapon. "Not today, and not ever," he replied, firing a stun blast that dropped the alien commander. "Secure that device," he ordered. "Intelligence will want to analyze that threat." Hours later, the last of the survivors were evacuated to Earth ships. Medical teams worked tirelessly to treat the freed prisoners, many of whom required immediate attention after months of captivity and experimentation. On the bridge of the Invincible, Admiral Reyes received the final report. 142 survivors recovered, Ryan informed her. "Station secure. Enemy forces neutralized." Lisa nodded, relief washing over her face, and the information from their computers. "Already being analyzed. It confirms our fears. They were planning a full-scale invasion of human space." "Then it's good we sent a clear message," Lisa said firmly. "Inform Earth Alliance Command. Harmony Station is secure, but this may be just the beginning of a larger conflict." Alan Carter stood at the viewport of the medical ship, watching as Harmony Station grew smaller in the distance, After months of despair, it felt surreal to be heading home. Olivia joined him, her thin face already looking healthier after proper food and medical care. "What happens now?" she asked quietly. 6 months after the Battle of Harmony Station, Alan Carter stood at the window of Earth Alliance headquarters. The skyline of New Geneva stretched before him, peaceful and bright in the morning sun. It was hard to believe that somewhere out in the darkness of space, an enemy waited. "Dr. Carter, they're ready for you," said a young aide. Alan nodded and followed her into the large meeting room where the Alliance Defense Council had gathered. Admiral Rice sat at the center of the table, her uniform decorated with new medals from the Harmony Station rescue. "Dr. Carter, thank you for coming," she said. "Your expertise on the Phyrexians has become invaluable." Alan took his seat beside Olivia Grant, who now served as the head engineer for Project Sentinel, Earth's new early warning system designed to detect Phyrexian approaches. "The information we recovered from Harmony Station has helped us prepare." Alan began, activating the holographic display. "The Phyrexians are unlike any species we've encountered. They see other life forms, especially humans, as resources to be harvested and studied." The display showed images of the Phyrexian biology and technology they had captured. "Their adaptive capabilities are remarkable," he continued. "They were attempting to create hybrid forms that could survive in human environments without protective gear." General Paul Harris leaned forward. "And you believe their threat of a larger invasion force was real?" "Without question," Olivia answered. "We found star charts marking dozens of human colonies as targets. Their plan was systematic and well-developed." Admiral Reyes stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the peaceful city below. "Since the Harmony incident, we've established defense outposts at every jump gate leading to Earth-controlled space," she said. "The new Thunderbolt weapons have been installed on all major colonies." Jack Miller, now promoted to security chief of the outer colonies, joined the conversation from a video link. "We've also trained civilian defense forces on all frontier settlements," he reported. "No one will be caught unprepared again." The room fell silent as everyone considered the enormous preparations being made across human space. The rescue of Harmony Station had changed everything. Earth had always considered itself alone in the universe, or at least without serious threats. That illusion was gone forever. "There's something else you should know," Alan said, breaking the silence. "From studying their communication patterns, we believe the Phyrexians operate like a hive species. The ones we encountered at Harmony Station were likely just an exploratory group." "You mean there could be billions more?" someone asked. Alan nodded. "Possibly. But there's hope in that fact too. Their hive structure means they share knowledge instantly within a group, but communication between distant groups is slower. Which means the main hive might not yet know what happened at Harmony Station," Admiral Rice concluded. "Exactly," Olivia said. "We have time to prepare." After the meeting, Alan and Olivia walked through the memorial garden planted in honor of those who didn't survive Harmony Station. Fresh flowers decorated the stone monuments. "Sometimes I still wake up thinking I'm hiding in those maintenance tunnels," Olivia admitted quietly. Alan squeezed her hand. "Me too, but look what came from our suffering." He gestured to the bustling headquarters around them. "Earth is united like never before. Our defenses are stronger. We're ready." In orbit above Earth, the newest fleet of Alliance warships ran battle drills. The lessons learned at Harmony Station had revolutionized human military doctrine. No longer would distance and lack of communication leave any human settlement vulnerable. Commander Daniel Wright watched from the bridge of his new command, the heavy cruiser Defender. "Contact approaching from Jump Point Alpha," reported his sensor officer. Daniel tensed, but only for a moment. Identification. Earth Alliance supply vessel, Abundance. Right on schedule. Daniel relaxed. For now, the stars were quiet. But Earth remained vigilant, its Armada ready, its people united by the knowledge that when the Phyrexians returned, and return they would, humanity would stand together. no one would ever again believe that help would not come.